Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the RK Football Podcast. Obviously, this week we do have David, Stu, Carl, and myself, Matt. I'm the only one that's gone festive here. Like, I'm very disappointed in you
Well, I've got
all.
green. I've got green and red.
Hey,
That's quite
Yeah,
festive.
yeah.
I done my festive episode last episode. That's it.
Fair
Right,
enough,
okay.
fair enough. I'll give you that.
So
I mean, this is probably the last year this shirt's can be worn because I think the washing machine shrunk it in the wash. But other than that, I think we'll be okay.
Make it a
Um,
scarf.
But you didn't need to say that because you're on a camera here. You could have got away with it. Now we all
Yeah.
know it's
It's like
really
really
short.
tight.
Yeah.
It's like that all the way down.
you just had to come out and admit it, didn't you? You could just
You
left
know,
that
yeah.
secret lying, but no, you had to come out.
No. I like to let everyone know. But yeah, so but we're going to start at probably the game of the weekend. Carl would like this. We're going to start at Aston Villa as they romped to a 2-1 victory over Manchester United to continue a 10-game winning run in all competitions, the best in 111 years for the club, and it was Morgan Rogers at it again. So,
No, it's really two things. One, I don't actually think it was game of the weekend. I think we'll get to that in a bit.
I agree.
But two, a few weeks ago on this podcast, you asked me, Matt, do I think Morgan Rogers is our match winner every week? And I said, no, he's not that player. Is he listening? Do you know what I mean? Does he listen to our Morgan? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you heard that because you've clearly gone on to prove me wrong. Because ever since that podcast, he has been the match winner week in and week out, week in and week out.
Absolute crackers every week. Like seriously,
Yeah.
both of the goals in that game were just like
Really
outrageous.
good. Yeah.
But I mean, personally, and I've said this before, I don't feel like we played that well, if I'm
No.
honest. And I've said this before with Villa this season. It feels like we're not. It's not about dominating games anymore for us. We're changing our tactics. It's not about possession. It's not about having the most chances. It's about being the most impactful, creating the best chances, getting the best players on the ball in the correct places, and that's something that we've done so well. But I mean, I'll be honest, I thought United were the better team, and it's actually really nice. And I bet Dave's really frustrated, but it's actually really nice to be on the other end of it because usually it's United aren't the better team, but they scrape out a result against you, and that's what Villa did against United this weekend. And I'm pleased. I have to be pleased.
I
Yeah.
100% agree. I don't think Villa were. I think particularly in that first half, I think United were arguably the better side. And United have had halves like that this season so far, whereby they create a sort of a million chances in the opening half, but just don't put them away. I think Sesko in particular had a couple of chances he really should have scored. I think Martinez made some good saves, but. Yeah, as you said, our Villa not at their best, and Morgan Rogers again pulling it out of the fire for them with two exceptional goals, particularly that first one. But it's not all doom and gloom. I don't think for United fans and for me. I mean, I was actually very happy with the performance, to be honest. And it's the kind of trope: if you're going to lose well. And I think United lost well. They put in a good performance. Some setbacks with injuries, obviously Bruno going off at half time, and with Mainu being injured. Yeah, I know, and it just means he's going to be out for certainly until obviously to the new year, but I think he's going to miss about 6 or 7 games. And with someone who could come in to deputise for him, like Kobbie Mainu was injured in the pre-game, so that's not ideal. And with players missing from AFCON as well. But I think it was a good performance for United, again, considering the players that they were missing, like Ahmad and Mbembo, players who two of their better performing players this season. But shame to lose, obviously. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the two young fellas coming on, they played okay, and we'll probably see more of them given the injuries that United have now. But I mean, I think it was good from United to go to the most informed side in the UK. Probably, I mean, they have to the most informed side in Europe right now, Aston Villa. 9 wins on the bounce. To go there and to put in a good performance, particularly in that first half, to lose 2-1, not the worst. I wasn't fuming at all. I think it was a pretty decent kind
That's
of.
what I
They
was
put in a
going to
good show.
say. At the risk of sounding arrogant, I don't think United were turning up to Fortress Villa Park at the weekend and saying we should be winning this game. I think most United fans and probably Amrin would have taken a draw before the game.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's just a testament to the work that Emery's done at Villa because he's turned us into a powerhouse now, which is what we wanted to be. I mean, look, I've said before in this podcast, I don't think we're in a title race. I think that's a bit too far out of our reach. But 3 points off the top at Christmas, is an amazing achievement considering Ollie Watkins has scored 2 goals this season. Do you know what I mean? If we had a number 9 that's going to get us 20 goals a season, then maybe we'd be in the title race. Arguably, we where Arsenal were 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah. Can I just say something
Missing
very,
the
very
next
quickly?
key.
Can I just say something very quickly about Unai Emery? We mentioned we mentioned a couple of weeks ago about whether or not Emery was the second best manager in the Premier League, and we kind of hummed and hawed. I think he certainly is, without a shadow of a doubt, behind Pep.
I think so.
Yeah, so I don't know
I
what you
think
think
so.
the same, Kyle.
Yeah, I think so. And look,
Yeah.
it's a big few weeks for Villa. Obviously, Chelsea the weekend is another sort
Big
of
game.
test of where we are more than anything. And actually, I think the Chelsea game is more important than the United game and the Arsenal game because I think Chelsea and Villa will be battling for that Champions League spots at
Yeah,
the end of the
agreed.
season.
Yeah.
That to me, it's kind of a 6-pointer for either team, and whoever wins it are more likely to go in at third or fourth, depending on the sort of second half of the season Liverpool have, I guess.
Who's at home
Yeah,
for that
no,
match,
I
Kyle?
agree with that.
The Villa
I
Chelsea.
think Chelsea are at home.
Chelsea.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, we're at home because I was umming and ahhing whether it's for next weekend already to whether to put Henderson between the sticks. I think they've got a pretty good game, or keep Sanchez between the sticks against Villa. And I'm like, like either one gonna
Chelsea
probably
conceded
concede.
home a lot. Mm.
Yeah, this is the
It's going to
thing. So
be
yeah,
an interesting. I mean, I just said about United fans would have gone to Villa Park going, no, I'll take a draw. I'll take a draw from Stamford Bridge, if I'm honest.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy place to go, but it's a really interesting look at what it's a perfectly timed fixture in a way for Villa and Emery because with the January transfer window coming up, we get to test ourselves against a team we consider a challenger for what we want this year, and we get to see where we measure up and where perhaps we need reinforcements. Maybe that's another striker, maybe that's a right back or something like that. It's one of those games where we can't really lose. Yes, on the pitch we can lose, but there's a lot to take away from every sort of position on the pitch on Saturday. I think on Saturday. So yeah, it'd be interesting, really interesting.
yeah. I think Man United. It's obviously it's not a good result, but the performance, the fight, you could still see it was there all the way to the end of the game. So
Yeah.
you just know that it's not going to be a thing of now things are going to go crumbling or anything like that. They're on a good run. They've
It's
got
what I've said before on the podcast though, where I know a few people, and there are people in the United fan base that are like, Amrin's doing awful, he needs to go. If you
oh
can't
god,
see the progression that United have had in the last year and a half, if there's not a fixture that shows it more than that one, I don't know what it is because United a year and a half ago turn up to that Villa team in the form they're in and lose 3-0.
Even at the
yeah,
beginning of this season, Kyle, even as early as that, I mean, I think the progression is more visible in the last maybe 10 or 12 games than it is in the last year and a half, to be honest. But yeah, they're showing fight, they're showing spirit, attacking threat, making chances, all the rest of it. But obviously, yeah, the injury to Fernandez is a big one.
mm,
There's still possibilities. I mean, whether or not Maney recovers from his knock, I don't know how serious it was, to be honest. He didn't really give much detail about that, and he has been reluctant to play him to begin with. So it remains
I
whether or
think
not,
it moves Mason Mount into
Mason Mount, I was going
a
to say,
game
is one
changing
option.
position as
Another
well.
option, Lisandro Martinez came on for Fernandes, who deputised in midfield, and he did a pretty decent job. So he's another option in there as well. And yeah, like you said, Mason Mount as well, who's having a really good season. So it remains to be seen. And there's a couple of kind of decent-ish fixtures for United now coming up. And the big one, obviously, I think
Newcastle and
City.
Wolves next two.
Newcastle, Wolves, I think Burnley is in there as well, and then we've got, I think their next big game is City at Old Trafford in sort of mid-January. So
Mm.
yeah, remains to be seen. But yeah, I mean, not all doom and gloom. I don't think, even though a loss is a loss, but they played well enough to
I
deserve
thought
I
Aidan
think, or even a
Heaven
draw.
played very well. Aidan
He
Heaven
did,
played
yeah,
very well as well. So I
he
kind
did,
of
yeah. He's
hope
playing okay.
I
Yoro
hope
had a bit of a
Amarim looks at that though and goes, you know what? Don't write off this youth team. Don't write off not youth team, but the younger players
no,
is
but
probably the right way to say it.
yeah, it's good to see
Because
Evan getting his game. Yeah.
yeah,
Obviously,
Yeah,
injuries dictated it, but no, he's putting in performances. Yeah, Yoro had he was sort of at fault for the first goal, but anyway.
I
But yeah,
actually
remains to
thought
be
game
seen.
of the weekend was St James's Park. To be honest, Chelsea Newcastle was
of
a
course you were going to
Yeah.
say
cracker.
it. Of course you
Right,
were.
but I think it's a. I mean, you say that. What a great result that is for Chelsea, by the way.
Yeah,
We
I will
talk
admit,
about this Chelsea team being
yeah,
weak, and they were in that first sort of 20 minutes. And yes, they went 2-0 down, but to come back at St James's Park, that's a team that will fight to the very end for whatever they're aiming for at the end of the season. So that, as a Villa
yeah.
fan, that's a result and a performance that does worry me because this isn't a Chelsea team that is just folding anymore. That they will fight, and that's a credit to Maresca.
I think the biggest compliment you can make this season is that Robert Sanchez has been so much better this season than he was last. I mean,
Yeah,
I had a look
100%.
at some of the stats from this season, comparing them to last season. Last season, he had 5 errors leading to goals. We are now in December at the Christmas period, halfway through the season. That stat is currently on 0
I
this
think there's been a
season.
tweak though,
That
hasn't
is a
there?
huge compliment,
How
I
many
think.
times did we see Sanchez last year get caught in possession or play a bad pass because he's
Mm,
been forced to keep the ball in pressure positions? A lot of
yeah.
teams do it. Villa do it
Mm.
majority of times very
If
well,
you've
but you
got the
do.
defenders to do it, you do it.
But you do
Yeah.
end up with mistakes at times, and that's what Sanchez was doing. And it feels like they've tweaked it this year. They've gone, look, he's not a great keeper with the ball at his feet. So let's not put him in those positions anymore. And he
Mm,
does feel like they're protecting him a bit more with the defensive unit, I guess is the right
mm,
way to say it. I mean, not all
yeah.
the time. I mean, I will say while we're talking on that game, Trevor Chalobah basically assaulted someone, and I still didn't get a
Oh,
penalty.
here we
I
go.
can't figure out how that wasn't a
Mm.
penalty.
Well, it's a shoulder barge. If everyone goes, oh yeah, but if that was on the other end, like if that was outside the box, he would have been given his free kick. It wouldn't have been. It's a shoulder barge.
It
He wasn't in
absolutely
control of
would
the
have
I think
been.
it
ball.
would
It
have. I think it would have
absolutely
been
would have.
outside the
Yeah,
box. Would have been. It would have been given a foul. I think
It's not
so.
about
Yeah.
shoulder to shoulder. It's about control. And Chalobah was out of control with the challenge. That's what the referees would say usually. He was out of
Mm.
control with the challenge. He steamrolled him.
Mm.
That's what he
it
did.
looked as though it's
Yes,
a
because
He
he's
50-50.
made sure he was
stronger.
off the ball. He made sure he
Could-
was off the ball.
Well, no, because if you look at the replay, because obviously it's like it looks like
More
they're both
important.
kind of go for the ball. So I can see why
Yeah.
VAR's looked at that and gone, it looks like it's a goal for them.
Thank you, Stu. Thank you, Stu.
But
No, I get that. And I do think it's one of those where if the referee would have given it, they wouldn't have overturned it. It's just that they
The
backed the referee's decision,
Yeah.
that's all.
yeah,
the only one I would argue against for like 100% is Reece James at the towards the end of
Oh
the
yeah,
game on
that
Harvey
was a
Barnes. I
terrific
was
tackle.
it wasn't an awful foul in the terms of like it was out of control and all this sort of stuff. He caught Harvey Barnes, and 9 times out of 10 that's a red card because he's through on goal.
Oh,
So I was very
Mm.
surprised he doesn't get sent off there. So yeah, I was a bit surprised at that, to be honest.
no, but I
But
thought good result for Chelsea, and I mean,
Yeah.
I think we should talk about Leeds, by the way.
well, there was before we move on, there
Oh
was
yeah.
one player I was very impressed with in the Newcastle game, and that was Lewis Miley.
Lewis Miley, yeah.
19-year-old. He scored in the League Cup in the week before, and obviously got his chance again in this game. And I thought he was very promising looking at him. Like he done everything, kept it all simple, made it look kind of not easy. He did struggle at times, but he
Natural.
didn't look at all exposed. Exactly natural. He made it look very natural.
It's going to be really interesting to
Good
see
to
what
see.
Eddie Howe does with him because
Yeah.
he's one of these young players, and I think a few teams have got them. I know Villa have got one with Bogard. That he's a centre midfielder at trade. That's his best position. But because of the amount of great central midfielders that these top teams have got, you look at Newcastle, you look at Tonali, for example. He's not forcing
Bruno
Tonali out of the
Guimaraes.
team and
Guimaraes,
Bruno, but he's had to be slotted in at right back to get some game time. And yeah, he did well. But it's going to be a really interesting sort of progression for him because he's got to find a way through that brick wall to
But
really
it
succeed.
looks like he could be utilised well as well. Like he
Yes,
doesn't
yeah,
mind
but
playing in that left back
my
role
my
as well.
point is, I think of Longstaff and I think of Elliot Anderson. Both failed to break through that Newcastle brick wall, and have
Yeah.
gone elsewhere and done amazing work. And Newcastle fans are going, "Well, we should have played them more." Be interesting to see if Miley goes that same way or whether he forces his way in because it's a tough midfield to get into,
I
especially
would
if you
argue
consider
maybe he needs a
Joe
loan
Linton's on
move.
the bench every week now, as well.
Yeah, yeah, true that. Yeah, but you wanted to speak about Leeds, didn't you? You said.
Leeds have. I still think they'll go down. I'll
Oh
say it this
wow.
much. I
Do you
still think
think?
they'll go down.
I don't
But
know.
I was so impressed with how simple they made football, I guess is the right way to say it. You see so many teams now that it's about half yards and it's about taking things on the turn and all this sort of stuff. They just went, no, we got a throw, in it goes. We got a corner, in it goes. I can't remember who they're playing now. Where did that come from my brain?
They play Palace.
Palace just couldn't deal with it at all. Every ball that went in the box was a problem. It genuinely, we talk about Stoke in the past, right? You talk about Tony Pulis. Tony Pulis would have been watching that rubbing his hands because that was a Pulis performance, if anything. And it got results. I still think they'll go down, but to beat Palace 4-1, if there's anything that's going to give you confidence over Christmas, it's that.
I disagree with that. I think they will stay up, to be honest.
I just think that performance, I mean, obviously it's like, obviously I think we talked about last time on Carl, I think it said, like, you think that Leeds only turn up for the big games, but not turn, like, like that'd be as good as it gets and they start getting back in the form. But give them credit. Last couple of games, they've really gone for it. And obviously this one, like, again, like I said, the Super Six, we all put Palace to win this, really. We're all like a draw. But no one really put Leeds to, like, get a winner. Like, really. But like,
well, I did. I did.
Yeah. So
forgot about that.
It was actually a good weekend for some of these relegation candidates, so to speak. Not Wolves, because Wolves are just Wolves at the moment. But Burnley getting a point at Bournemouth is a really great point for them as well. Forest play tonight against Fulham, and that's going to be a tough one to call. I mean, look, it's a great result for Leeds, and we actually said in our preview podcast, didn't we? I think we said that the home form's going to be vital. That place was rocking against Palace, and if they can do that, you never know. They will make it a lot more competitive than I thought they would a month ago. That's what they're doing, and that's the good news.
Absolutely, they're building up ahead of steam now, like unbeaten in 4.
Up, like from what I've seen,
I think they will as well.
Especially with them at home.
My issue with that is, right, we're saying 3 go down. So Wolves, I think we all agree, are down at this point.
Burnley.
It's a miracle. I think most of us are thinking Burnley. Who are you saying goes down instead of Leeds? What, West Ham?
Well, from the form at the moment, I mean,
current form. I mean, they're not like Forest are looking decent, 4 wins in 6.
The difference with if it's between, say, at the end of the season, what's the difference between Leeds and West Ham? The difference is that the goals are coming from somewhere. Like Ethan Ampadu in the midfield looks like he's really like making the work of it. He's playing really well. I thought he managed the game brilliantly and obviously got a goal to cap it all off. Like, he was man of the match for me. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin,
oh my God!
Like he was a player. He left
what a resurgence!
Everyone probably thought like, oh, this guy's going to score like 1 or 2 goals.
Yeah.
Isn't it? 6 goals in 5 games.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
He had
get him on the plane.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, he's technically
him and Welbeck. Come on.
He's the most. Well, think about it. He is the most informed English striker right now, right?
Yeah, he must be. Yeah.
So,
I tell you what,
Kane.
If Sam Allardyce was England manager right now, he'd be on the plane. I can tell you that.
Or Roy Hodgson.
Is that like he only had 3 chances in that game, all of which were on target. But it's not even just the chances and like converting them. The second balls, like you say about the ball comes in the box, player heads it on. He's there for that second ball all the time. Wherever he stood, he was amongst that little box there to get it away. And he scored 6 goals doing it.
At the risk of sounding a bit Roy Keane,
go on.
That is his job. Right?
It is his job, yes.
No, but when he hasn't done it
very well.
Then that's the same job as Liam Delap, and he's been awful. So like just saying,
an injury put him.
But then when he has played, he's not done anything. So right.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing with Calvert-Lewin, isn't it? Like, because obviously that's been the problem. It's been he hasn't been able to get really We've seen glimpses when he's had a couple of games where he's a good, when Carlo Ancelotti was Everton, that still blows my mind to this day, to be honest. But like, was like when he's playing for him, he was just like, he looked like his future was bright. But again, it's the same thing with him, injuries. This is probably the first time in a very long time where he's had a consistent run in the first team. So it's not surprising that after a while because again, before he was like, he wasn't scoring, he was still getting in those areas. So obviously no one expected him to have this moment where he kept scoring, go like the way he is now. But you can see like he was missing chances, but he was getting into them moments. He was hoping he can, finally convert them. But
strengths now, though, aren't they? I don't think they quite were at times, but now they're really playing to his strengths. And I mean, you mentioned Ancelotti. I remember a quote Ancelotti said about Calvert-Lewin. He said he realised very early on, that this Everton team may lack quality on the ball. So the tactic was Calvert-Lewin is good in the air, he's strong on the ball, get it long to him, and that's what Leeds have started to do a bit more. And it's meant that Calvert-Lewin has had chances 8 yards out, not 16 yards out, where he can't really put the finishing touch on it.
They've just kept it simple. Like go back to the simple of this, like instead of like doing because obviously, as you said, like just cross it. Sometimes you just need like it's simple, just cross it in the box, and then just like if you got a striker like Cavalier and it's good in them kind of positions, it put them away. So. It's kind of it's just refreshing to see a team not try and do philosophy and just go, you know what, we've got some good players here that can cross, good players that can, and just go old school. And I think what this season's kind of proved well, like going back to kind of old school kind of tactics and kind of don't complicate it, just like long throw-ins or just maybe have a couple of pops outside the box or just cross it in the box. No fancy, just do that. I think that's what I come from Leeds, and that's what I kind of think this season's been. It's kind of felt very, early 2000s, maybe 90s foot-wise. People have gone back to that kind of style of play. That's kind of refreshing, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. What would concern me though, if I was Leeds, is actually more about Sunderland being so good this year as an option, because you look at the teams. Because you look at the teams in the Premier League, and I think at the start of the season they probably expected Sunderland to be down there and around them as a challenger, and now Sunderland are off doing amazing things. That rules out a team that could go down, I guess, is what I'm saying. And you look at it. Yeah, Wolves, Burnley, like I said, West Ham are down there. I wouldn't consider Forest in there.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't really consider Fulham, but Fulham and Forest are both in that position at the moment where they have to start putting results together or they'll get dragged into it. But then you look at it and you go, there ain't many other teams that you would consider as relegation candidates. That's what would concern me.
I think West Ham are in huge trouble. Like I do think Nuno has done a decent job there, but if one thing I would recommend to the board in January, I know they don't blimmin' listen at West Ham anyway, but is they need more, like they need another new striker. They need something to help out Bowen because he's so isolated up there. He's have to do too much. He's doing too much.
I think they're losing full Krug now, aren't they? I forget which team came in for them, but they're going to lose full Krug on a loan deal. AC Milan, that's the one.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, again, he's another injury-prone striker for him. Is that they got this guy expecting to be like kind of a poacher, and he's going to barely played. But like that's been
the player that had like they've lost, the big player, and I know he wanted to leave in the summer, was Kudus, but he was doing the work that Bowen is now doing.
Yeah, but he wanted to go.
He wanted to go.
Yeah, you do
that. They replaced him. That's the problem.
Yeah, but in today's modern day world, when a player like Kudus wants to go and you know you're going to get a hefty tag for him, you have to go to balance the books to bring in other players. And the truth is that over the last 5 years, arguably 10 years, to be honest, West Ham have failed to sign the right striker.
Be struggling to score strikes.
They've never.
Antonio was probably one of the best strikers.
But I wouldn't say Antonio
he wasn't
consistent though. Like it was like.
Well,
he was consistent, but I wouldn't say he was signed as this is going to be the guy that's going to score.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and they've failed consistently, and that's their biggest problem.
Who was their last great? In your opinion, what's the last great striker? Like what was it?
Bobby Zamora. No. When the ball hits in there, it's a pretty
good. Oh man, that's going back.
Nah.
That's going way back.
I mean, you would probably say Antonio. I think he was great. He was great for West Ham. You can't.
Andy Carroll was quite good as well. Andy Carroll would bang in the goals.
Carroll had a good few years with
he was one of these. He scored an amazing goal and then wouldn't do anything.
He would just go quiet for like 5 weeks. Like
exactly.
Remember he scored a great bicy kick against.
That's pretty much his Liverpool in a nutshell. That was.
You know what? Actually, I think. You would probably argue it would either be Vazte, like in terms of decent. No, I'm just putting it out there. Vazte or Dean Ashton. That is probably the last good striker that played for West Ham.
I mean, Carlos.
Well, they've had good strikers, but do you mean like amazing out of this world class striker? Like
we haven't got strikers. They got promoted back to the Premier League in 2012. There is not one striker I'll sit there and go.
And this is my point. West Ham have never really had good strikers, and for some reason they just don't attract good strikers. I don't know what it is, but hopefully for them they do it. I would say the only other team I am concerned about, or would be concerned, is Fulham. Now we're saying this before the game against Forest even kicks off, so let's see what happens with that. But I just feel like they're a little stale at the moment. This Fulham team, they're just a little,
Really?
yeah. They feel like the same Fulham we've seen for like 4 years, and they're just starting to get a little bit complacent. Maybe at times, you look at the league position, they scream mid-table, but it's so easy to
But
fall into it.
I think with Fulham, though, I think it's a situation. I think it's kind of why they'll probably be okay. Is a situation again like they're beating the teams around them. I'll be worried if
Yeah.
they were losing. Like, but as you can see, like obviously Burnley, obviously it was a bit nervy near the end, but like they won that quite with a very good
No, no,
comfortably.
I agree, and I do think they'll be safe. I just mean you talk about Leeds, you think they'll stay up. If Leeds and Burnley start putting results together, Fulham will be really
They'll be dragged
concerned.
into it. Yeah.
And if
I mean,
Harry Wilson stops scoring worldies, then obviously where the goal's
yeah.
going to come from as well.
But this.
Oh, he's in my team. I forgot about that. I need him to do something.
Same. I want him
Yeah.
to score a hat trick. That'd be
Oh,
great.
Yeah. Oh,
That'd
that'd
be-
be that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Harry Wilson, I think he is a very good player. He's shown that he is going to be their talisman for this season. But one player I think they're really going to miss throughout January is, forgive me if I get this wrong, everyone knows my pronunciation is impeccable. Chukwuemeka.
Chukwueze.
Chukwueze. Oh my God.
Chukwuemeka's a
I was willing to let it go, but
That's a different player.
Yeah.
That's a different player completely.
Chukwueze. Like, I think he's fantastic. I really do. He offers so much on the other flank for the team, and he's one of these. He'll run down the byline and cut it back. So he's very good at all these things. But now with him being at AFCON, that's a player they're going to miss. And they've got in their next 5 games, they've got Nottingham Forest obviously tonight. We don't know what the result is at this point. West Ham away, Crystal Palace away, Liverpool at home, and then Chelsea at home. So they're not easy games.
They're not, but I mean, the two London derbies there, West
Palace
Ham and
at home
Palace,
is
you've got to
tough.
target. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with them. I think they could get dragged in. We've spent all this time talking about the Premier League weekend. We've not spoken about the champions elect, as it feels at this point. Arsenal just going about their business. There's not a lot to say really, is there? They're just going about their business, getting it done.
I think what we could say is that none of us had predicted Arsenal to win. So I think it's unless I'm wrong, I think we all had a draw, didn't we? Or didn't we?
Excuse me. I did.
You had an Arsenal
I
win.
had Arsenal
Pardon
to
me.
win, didn't I?
Yeah,
surely.
Did you?
We just elected to not share it on the group. That's all. We put it in.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people might have had it in their minds. I certainly did that Arsenal would go there and probably struggle to get a win. So I mean, all credit to them for getting the win. And another clean sheet as well is always helpful. But it's a great win for them.
We criticised Jokeres last week, and then he scored.
Now I didn't criticise Jokeres. I just said that he wasn't perhaps getting the goals that he should getting. Yeah, you went in on it.
I mean, to be fair,
and it was a penalty.
I mean, to be fair,
I
mean, to be fair to him, like, what can you do when the player puts his hands up like that? Like, he blatantly gives a handball. I mean, it's play. I mean, it's like to be fair, it felt like that kind of game that if that wasn't for that, I don't know what the defender was doing there. It felt like a 0-0 at times, obviously, because obviously Arsenal just weren't getting the luck. It could have been 2 or 3, but they just weren't.
Found a way through. There's this feeling with Arsenal at the moment. They will find a way through. They will get the results. They just feel super dependable right now. Like you say about your Super Six predictions, Arsenal just feel like a team that are going to get you the result you need to get right now, and it's the best compliment we can pay them that they. Yes, you're right. It was a penalty, and Everton was stupid for giving it away. But they eat the woodwork twice after that. If that penalty doesn't get given, the pressure mounts. They get through. They score. And they win the game 1-0. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
They did win at the end of the day. Absolutely.
League titles on, and
I think
Arteta's doing it.
What makes me nervous for Arsenal and what happened at the weekend is when if it stays like this now, 2-3 points between Arsenal and City now for the next couple of months, every time City play first and win, I think it's obviously going to really rack up the pressure on Arsenal. But obviously this weekend, City played first, went temporarily to the top of the league. So that was a big ask, I think, for Arsenal to go to Everton, who were banging form at the moment. They'd won 3 of their last 4, I think, or something like that. But great win for them.
And also that's been their problem for the last couple of years, because every time someone obviously if someone slips up, they usually slip up too, or someone's someone overtakes them, but then they slip up. So like the person, like, that's been their problem for the last couple of years. So it's kind of refreshing, and kind of maybe see that it's a good chance they might, the very favourites go and win it, is that City won and then they went, well, okay, we've got to win, and they got the job done. So
Yeah.
This
Have they
this
finally
weekend
got
is-
that maturity? Have they finally got the maturity to go and win it? I hope
Well,
so. I hope so.
It feels like it.
just
This
because of the
weekend will be-
predictions, we know.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to see. I don't want to see City win it again.
But
I mean,
they
that's
were impressive though. They were impressive.
They
City
were.
were. Oh yeah, yeah.
This weekend will be key for it, because you say about City playing first and putting the pressure on. That's what's going to happen again on the 27th. So City go to Forest away. Arsenal
Yeah.
play at Brighton at the 3 o'clock. At home to Brighton at the 3 o'clock.
They'll be watching that game.
Yeah,
they'll
but
be
for City,
100%.
so
100%.
Forest away is an interesting one for City. If they're going to win the league, yeah, you win those games. But we've seen this City team sometimes stumble in these
Yeah.
sort of games, and it'll be interesting. It'll be those sort of fixtures that will define the league title. We say about how big Arsenal City is going to be when it comes in April, and maybe it will be. But if weekends like this weekend coming up, where it's City have got to get the job done, and then Arsenal have got to get the job done, and if they don't, all of a sudden the points will start adding up, or the other way around, I guess. But
that's what I'm thinking. If they lose that lead, like so at the moment, obviously they're top by 2 points Christmas. But I think if, like example, if they lose that lead to City and then they like drop points and they lose it for another weekend, do they have that like kind of fortitude to kind of go, no, okay, we'll keep going at it and not just crumble, like, because they've had that before. But again, it's still a good result of the weekend, so we'll find out next weekend what happens. But yeah, it's again, it's at least it's a title race. Like, it's not 4-5. It's like
Absolutely,
2 points.
yeah. And just to say on top of that as well, I think it's important as well for Arsenal and particularly Arteta to not kind of adopt this "woe is me" mentality about injuries. Just get on with it. Go to these games and win.
I think the two players I do really want to point out and to give a bit of praise to as well is Guardiola and Diaz.
Guardiola,
Like in the summer, Man City didn't really bring anyone in defensively, and I think a lot of people did sit there and think they're going to ship some goals. Like they did bring in 2 goalkeepers, yes, but in actual defence they didn't bring anyone in. But then Nico O'Reilly has been nothing sort of exceptional for Man City. The 2 centre backs, Guardiola and Diaz, their partnership's been really good to watch this season, and they do offer something going forward as well. Like they've gone from a team at the beginning of the season that was shipping really strange goals at times and mistakes and errors and all this stuff. I'm not saying they're not capable of it. Of course they still are, but they do look a lot more solid than what they did at the start of the season. So I don't think it's going to be quite the same City there was at the start of the season. I think they've clicked into gear now.
I think Guardiola's he's not settled. He's insisted, I guess, on a tactic now. Start of the season and last season, because of the injuries they had to the fullbacks, they were playing Nunes, for example, at right wing back, and they were kind of attacking but also not really defending, and it wasn't one way or the other. It was in between, and it feels like Guardiola's gone, right, this is a situation we're going to be in. I want to play attacking fullbacks, and he's sticking to a system now that is working for them. And it helps when you got Erling Haaland. When Haaland scores goals, they're going to win games. There was probably about a month at the start of the season where he scored the first couple of games and then went quiet, it felt like, for a couple of weeks. And now he's back. He's scoring goals week in, week out. I know there were a number of people out there who triple captained Haaland the weekend and got great results
I was going
for it.
to, and I forgot.
I'm so I was going to, but I always save it for the double weekends. But yeah,
he's the what, like, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I look at Haaland and I go, that's the problem. Because if Haaland continues how we know he can be, if he scores a goal every game or more, obviously,
because obviously that's
City are likely to win the game. That's the truth. And if he's consistent
as well.
Yeah,
and obviously, as you pointed out, I think David last episode, he talked about like lack of goals from Arsenal. I mean, like it's like not often no one's got no one's on double figures. I don't think when anyone's not on.
Don't be on 4 goals.
So like, I mean, if it obviously it's not unprecedented, if you're spreading the goals around, that's fine. But I just think when you've got like someone like, was it City of Haaland just scoring goals every week, like that's always going to give, like, it's an old school mentality, isn't it? If you want to win something, you need a striker that scores goals every week.
Well, yeah, but it's a really interesting two clashes. So you've got Arsenal who are going, right, yeah, we're not going to win the game 3-4-0 every week, but we're going to win 1-0. We're going to keep a clean sheet. And you've
Yeah.
got City who are going, oh, we're going to score 3 this week. We may concede 2, but we're going to score 3. So it's two different philosophies this season.
Exactly,
We'll
yeah.
see which one lasts longer, I
But
guess.
the some of the stats I heard from the weekend, which I was very impressed by as well, from the like Haaland as well. Obviously, he's on 25 goals in all competitions this season. 11 goals since his Premier League debut. 11 of the goals have come against West Ham United since his Premier League debut. Um, in that game, he had 13 touches in the box, the least from an outfield player in that 90 minutes, and all of which like he got a chance from. And his record there at the Etihad, this was insane, I thought. 59 goals and 14 assists in 57 games at the Etihad in the Premier League.
That's just
I mean,
It's
the fact of the matter is, we talk about strikers, and I know, Matt, you want to talk about Harry Kane at the end of this episode, and we've talked about Lewandowski before. The fact is, Erling Haaland is the best striker of the generation, and he the goals he has scored in his career, from Dortmund to City,
The consistency is ridiculous.
it's
Like,
scary.
Yeah.
And when you look at how old is he still? He's what, 28?
20.
Max?
Oh, don't even think.
it's way, it's
25.
way-
He's
I would have said 25 or
25.
26.
and he's
Yeah.
going to be there for 9. Was it? Oh, obviously, what, 8? Was it? He spent a 9-year
Well, that's what the contract
contract.
is, yeah.
Like,
Whether
I
or
mean,
not, I mean, if
whether
when, if
Guardiola
Real Madrid
stays.
come in, yeah,
But you
yeah.
can see it, can't you? You can see he's going to have another couple of amazing years, then go off to Real Madrid and win the La Liga 4 times in a row. He's genuinely crazy scary. Like, there was always comparisons between him and Mbappe, and Mbappe's a great player, but I'd take Haaland every single day of the week.
100%. I see. I don't
It's
like the
guaranteed
comparison
goals,
between those two players because I don't think
They're not the same players, are
they're
they?
quite the same position. I mean, yeah, because Mbappe does play on the left quite a lot. Well, he did for PSG and for Real Madrid as well.
But you're looking at two players who are just.
Well, they're
producing numbers which are
Mbappe's
insane.
more of a
yeah,
creator,
they're the
though,
two
isn't he?
players of the generation that like define the generation. But I agree with Kyle. I think Haaland is for me certainly the most exceptional striker we've seen.
I always
this
think
generation.
with these records, I see the record come up, say for Mbappe, and he goes and does it, and all of a sudden Haaland's like there, and he goes, oh by the way, next week I'm taking it off you. It does feel like that sort of thing.
He's breaking his own records every week. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
just,
I think by the end of it, when he eventually leaves the Premier League, we will be talking about the best striker the Premier
the
League
highest scorer. Do you reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
If
again,
he
Yeah,
keeps it
yeah,
up,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
there's
yeah.
every
It's gonna-
if
it's
he
gonna-
keeps it up, he'll walk past it. Like yeah,
it's
he'll
gonna
just
be
keep-
it's gonna be up there with those debates that we had when Kevin De Bruyne left, and we like, is he the best like Premier League midfielder of all time? Obviously, and everyone all goes, oh, it's like the same thing with Haaland when he leaves. It'd be the same argument, like
It's so annoying as well because like he's all in a sense he's already cemented his legacy in City. He's already won the treble. He's already won however many Premier Leagues. Do you know what I mean? Like if he was to leave now, he would
won
probably
everything
be
that-
considered one of the best strikers, if not the best striker City's ever had.
Can't
He's
you,
won it-
outside the stadium?
Oh yeah.
He's
But
won
you know what I mean?
everything
Like
he
he's
can win.
already done. He's
Yeah.
exactly. He's won everything. Yeah, and he's going to be there for however long more and score however many more goals and
Who is
win
their all-time
trophies.
leading
and-
goal scorer? Isn't it
Oh,
Aguero?
Must be Aguero, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it is
Yeah, yeah.
Aguero, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean,
Go on.
no, I was just about to say that'd be a quick question if you find out before was it Aguero when they didn't have the money? Well, who is their top scorer? That would be a quick question. If you got that, I'd be very impressed.
I think,
Colin Bell or something.
Yeah, it'd be like.
Oh no, he wasn't.
It's
even
probably
in there.
Sean. It's probably Sean Golter, probably.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what I say is,
Sean
I'm just having a
Coulter.
quick look, right? Haaland, I mean, he's still a fair way off Shearer, and it all depends on him staying at City for the next
What is he on now, Kyle?
5-6 years. He's nearly halfway up the record. He's on
103, isn't it?
104 goals now.
He's only been
Right.
he's only been illegal at four seasons now.
Yeah.
Equal Drogba
And he's only
record.
25.
And he's only going to get better. That's the
Shit,
scary bit. In,
shit,
in
shit.
theory, he's only going to get better.
They say 28's your prime, didn't they?
He's not even in it yet.
2 years off of it.
I personally think we're looking at, once City get their act together again and Haaland spearheading this team, we're looking at Haaland winning a Ballon d'Or.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
But again, if they win another Champions League, that's the thing. So obviously we know the Champions League.
Well,
is kind
the
of-
Ballon d'Or is usually kind of the European. The
Yeah,
Champions
so like
League usually, which is why Dembele I think won the
I-
Ballon d'Or. You know.
I
so
don't.
if he-
I don't think he ever does. to be honest.
It'd be interesting.
It's hard to
I think
argue
he
it though.
will.
If he keeps hitting these
Yeah.
numbers, and if he wins another, God forbid, another treble or another
But then,
European
yeah.
double or
I mean,
something,
don't
and
get me wrong, like,
scores a hat trick in the final,
then
it's like,
yeah.
how
Is
do we
it the
not
same
give it to him?
argument?
You know?
Is it the same argument with Mo? Because obviously Mo was doing, like, obviously not those numbers, but he was consistently doing like, high numbers, and he wasn't even.
Yeah, sorry to cut across.
Yeah,
If
winning the Ballon
Liverpool
d'Or's
had won
a
the
joke, though,
Champions
yeah,
League
so.
last season, Stu, Mo Salah would have won the Ballon d'Or. No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, but the Ballon
Yeah,
d'Or's a
but-
sham anyway.
but-
Let's be fair.
Because of the league season, he had scored 40, 50 goals, whatever it was. If he had topped it off with the Champions League, no doubt.
I mean, I would
yeah.
say City have got the rich owners that can pay off FIFA to get him the award, so it may happen.
Let's not.
FIFA corrupt? No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not Nedved. Nedved deserved that Ballon d'Or over Henry. Anyway,
Yeah. Those 115
but-
charges are never going to come to light, are they?
Yeah.
We're just that's just never going to.
no.
Anyway,
But one team, there is one last game I want to speak about very quickly, and it is the Spurs and Liverpool
Oh,
game.
yeah,
Obviously, Liverpool went on to win 2-1 in that game. A very very spicy game, to say the least. And surprisingly enough, Vert actually got an assist in the game.
No,
He
I
actually
was
did
so
get an
happy
assist.
for it.
he played well. I thought. I thought he played. I thought he
He's-
played well.
He's
Yeah.
He had one or two
playing really well
chances
last
to
couple
score
of
as
games.
well. He was great. Yeah.
Yeah, he's last couple of games he's been definitely. I think maybe as I said put before, like was it formational change and kind of a bit more, kind of just basically letting him roam and do his thing, and it's kind of it obviously got the best out of him. And yeah, it was. I mean, not that cutback to I think it was Isak to get the open. It was like it's just like this is what we.
Fabulous.
I mean, I get it. He hasn't got the goal. Like his first one piece, yes, it's his first assist. And everyone goes, well, I think I saw him. Well, he hasn't scored a goal yet. It's like, do you
He's
watch
come
these
bloody
games?
He's come bloody
Yeah.
close. I mean,
It's,
I know,
it's
but like
no
we-
coincidence that Liverpool have started to put results together just as they're
He's
letting
starting to,
Verts be Verts. If we're
Yeah,
really honest,
100%.
they're letting him play
since Mo's
his
been
game.
dropped.
But he wasn't. He wasn't even when we were in bad form. Like when we were like really like losing every weekend. It's like he wasn't like when he was. If you actually kind of watch him, it's like he wasn't bad. Like he just wasn't getting to his peak. But like he wasn't like even was the bare minimum of like doing the helping out teammate and stuff like that, doing the proper like yards and stuff. He was still doing that. Like I wasn't watching him as going, my God, Virch is rubbish. Like he was still. You could see what eventually it would click at some point because obviously.
The question is though, because I mean we're gonna have to talk about it. With Isak now out probably for the rest of the season.
Oh,
With-
yeah, I
with-
know.
with-
How
with a
unfortunate
broken
he
leg.
scored as
I
well.
thought he broke his leg badly.
Yeah, he should have got.
for-
I mean, the player should have got sent off for that. To be honest. Like,
I mean,
think
he
about it.
may come back. He may come back before the end of the season. We're not sure exactly how bad the broken leg is, but it sounds bad.
That's season ender.
Potentially. What do Liverpool do in this? Because they've spent a hell of a lot of money in the summer, but you now have one recognised striker.
Don't panic. You've got one of the best strikers in
You
world
do.
football right now.
Ekitike's been
Yeah,
amazing,
Ekitike,
but you've got one recognised striker with Salah going off to AFCON as well and potentially being
It's only a
sold. Who
month.
knows?
But it's only a month.
And also,
If they
rumours
can
gone
determine
around.
he's going to stay, it's only for a month.
I think what probably more likely to do is probably get what's his name from Bournemouth. 'Cause that's the rumours going
Semenyo.
around.
Mate, no, I think that would
But-
be a waste, don't you think?
It looks
Ah,
likely
well-
he's going to go there, though.
Well,
That's
to
where
be
he
fair,
wants to go.
Well, we need kind of someone on that left hand side because obviously Gakpo's been, he's only kind of he played most of the games. He's obviously put Verts there sometimes, but he's a recognised left winger. And yeah, and also because I think if what probably Slot would try and do is obviously if like Hugo Ekitike got injured, we'd probably try like maybe like false line or something like that. Like try something tactically to get around it until that kind of into like was it if Ekitike came back from injury. I don't think as much as it feels like everyone said we need to get another striker in. The problem with Liverpool this season, we need like at least two defenders in at least. I mean, because obviously like the idea that we've got the reason that obviously everyone the reason why I don't watch Sky Sports punditry because I've never seen them like that last 10 minutes where we basically were all over the place and Tottenham looked like they were going to try and get the equaliser. Like some of the stuff that was it's the work like abhorrent last 10 minutes. Like, but we won. If we drawed that game, you could sit down and say, well,
It's
we
just the
imploded.
media.
But
They hate Liverpool.
well,
I just-
Who doesn't know?
I
just-
wonder, because you are right, they need defenders more than anything, and they've spent the money on Isak and Ekitike in the summer, right? So I just wonder if there's a cheeky loan deal out there for Liverpool for a striker. I don't know who that is, but
I'm not known for it though. I've seen him do like a couple of like kind of like I think like when we had that defensive problem where we just basically all defenders went, and I think we were like buying some called like some from like Preston or someone like that, and I think it's like Ben Davis or something like that.
I
It's
mean,
just
I am
like,
thinking a little bit more high profile than that. There's
I know,
one
but like
player that
Liverpool,
I'm really interested to see what happens in the January transfer window, and I think could be an interesting one for Liverpool. Arguably a little young. Endrick at Real Madrid has played one game this season. Xabi Alonso doesn't like him, right? And he clearly is on his way out. I just wonder if I was Slot, whether I'd be tempted to say, let's give him
Come to us for
6
6
months.
months. Yeah.
I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's more of a situation of, obviously, as you said, like with Isak, like it, as you said, it looks like a season ender. But I guess with the situation, we find out how long that's going to be out. But I think like the loan thing. Obviously, we got Chiesa turned into be like kind of a bargain. Like, and the idea we got him for so little, and then now he's turned into like our.
I told you Chiesa would be
yeah,
a
I
good
know,
player
yeah,
for this
well,
year.
I know you were right, and yeah, so. It does happen now and then. You do get things right. It does happen, but yeah, I mean,
Would you be against a move for Jean-Philippe Mateta?
He won't leave. He
You
won't
reckon?
leave Palace. Not
Bit too
not on the
static,
loan.
is he not? Is he a
Not
bit
on
too
the
static
loan
for that
deal.
team?
are we
Not
just
on the
going to be
loan
like?
deal.
Are we just going to be like Southampton all over again? Where basically we like said like back in the days when Southampton was like, oh, all your best players will pick that player, that player, that player. Is Palace going to become that, or is it we're just, if you want to go trifecta, we're just go and get Adam Wharton as well, just to go take their best striker, their best defensive midfielder, and their captain, and then
you say that,
rate them.
yeah, but you say that like it's not Bournemouth that you're doing that to, because you took their best left back and now you're going to take their best winger apparently.
I think that,
True, but
honestly,
we're not taking
if I
their
was
like
Semenyo,
entire team.
I would avoid Liverpool personally.
Yeah,
He,
I
well,
agree.
I see. He said
Gakpo
apparently he's
will be
come out.
fine.
Yeah, because United were in for him, Tottenham, but apparently he's come out and said that he would prefer a Liverpool move, and his release clause, I believe, is only about 65 million. So I think it would be.
It depends who's in for him, doesn't it? You're
I know
right.
you
If
say
it's
only.
if it's
just, I mean, it's a steal. Like
in
if you got
football
him, like,
terms, yeah. I mean,
yeah, but if
Yeah.
if it's Spurs, United, or Liverpool, yes, Liverpool's the right call. I get that, but you are right in the sense of when Isak comes back, you've got Gakpo coming back from his injury as well. Vert in that sort of position. It's a tough move for Semenyo. I think it's a tough place for him to go and become the player that he wants to be. But it is the dilemma of going to a top club. You don't become the big fish in the small pond anymore, and you've got to.
And will that offer come again? I think players too often
I was
just
quite
count on
surprised
it.
now when
Will this happen again?
I was quite surprised no one came in the summer, to be honest. Like, no one would at least put a little bit of interest.
I think they did, but then he wanted to actually stay at the club at that point.
I think why we're going for him, because it feels like it's pure. Obviously, with Chiesa on that left hand side, like kind of he looks when Gakpo when him and Gakpo, it's like Gakpo doesn't really use him, so he's not utilizing his strengths. So the logic, I think, why we're going for him is like, well, when was he at his best? Oh yeah, when he was playing alongside Semenyo, and it's like, well, we'll get him. Like, because he can play to his strengths. Because obviously with Gakpo, he doesn't. Because all Gakpo does is basically not when he gets the ball, he just drifts inside, and he just and you got Chiesa on it, like running in, going like, "You're gonna give me the ball" or anything like that. So he's not playing to his strengths. And with Vert's there, and obviously, I think was like he's playing a bit better.
So are we saying, Stu, that next you're going to go for Areola in the summer? Is that what you're saying? They got the best out of these two players, so we're now going to get Areola to be the manager, get rid of Slot.
If we're going to do raids of other clubs, why not like raid their managers too?
Can I just say something just to bring it back to the actual match?
Go on, yeah.
I mean, yeah, good. I think we all expected Liverpool to win, but anyway, but the Xavi Simons red card, I don't think that should have been a red card. I think that's like a dark. I think that's like a dark yellow or like a straight yellow. I think if that was, I think if it's like on the front of his leg, it would seem like a more dangerous and potentially leg-breaking challenge. Raking the studs down the back of the thigh of the calf, is that a red card? I don't know. I thought that was a little.
I would sit there and say, well, would you like, how would that like feel if someone was?
I'm sure it bloody hurts, but I don't know. I just thought no, and the amount of time the ref spent looking at that screen, he must have watched a replay of that about 12 times, which was just mental. But I don't know. I thought that was a bit. By the letter of the law, I suppose I can understand its potential.
I don't know if they were just thinking, like, screw it. because how many of some of the tackles and some of the stuff they were doing. I mean, you can sit there and say, well, the proper old school kind of tackling, but Jesus, like. I mean, obviously, when Richarlison came on, like we were talking about, recently, like with the shithousery, like players that just like, just like gets on your nerves.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know what it is. When he plays against Liverpool, it just pops him up into another gear, and he just hates us.
He remembers his Everton days. I tell you, that's what he does.
What I find funny is an interesting stat that's hilarious is he scores these goals. But I don't think he's ever been on the winning side of scoring these big goals.
It's the most humiliating kind of like stat to have. It's just like
because obviously the famous one, obviously scored. I think it was
the shirt.
Yeah, the top of the one when it's like he's equalised and he was like, oh my god, he's got the winner, and then obviously Jota went on the other end and scored the winner, and it's like, well, you put all that effort and you still lost.
Yeah.
Well, he is a player that I actually wanted to very quickly speak about because he came on with 10 minutes to go and produced more in the game than Colin Mawani did in the whole 8 minutes.
Colin Mawani is the worst signing in the history of the Premier League.
He had 4 shots in that within 6 yards of the goal, and none of them were on target. I'm sorry, but honestly, you're useless.
I was quite surprised.
He should have won France the World Cup as well. Yeah, they probably all hate him in France too.
He shouldn't have been in the France World Cup squad. Let's be honest, has he ever been any good? Ever?
I don't know.
I don't know what Spurs saw.
I'm just surprised he didn't start with. That first 10 minutes when he came on with Richarlison, it's like you're sitting there going, this game would be perfect for, especially when defensively we all look a bit shabby. Was it sometimes when some goes out? It's like he would have loved this game, and then when he came on, obviously he completely transformed it. And then if it wasn't for a couple of, again, overhyping how like everyone was like, oh my god, the Liverpool collapsing. It's like I watched the game, it wasn't that bad. It was
Richarlison's an interesting one because he is actually having a very good season. People aren't realising the season he's having. He is such a hothead, but he's got 7 goals this year. He's got the same amount of goals as Rodgers, Foden,
I think that's
Voldemort.
why he doesn't start. He's hotheadness. But the thing is, I say that, but blimmin' Romero starts, and he's the biggest hothead of them all in the Premier League.
He was like the idea. I have to admit, the kick was a bit like, it wasn't like we're talking about malicious, but good God, it's like he was absolutely. And also the idea. What I love about this is the idea that I think it's when Hugo Ekitike got the second, and he's like, he fouled me. It's like, jog on. Like, what are you talking about? It's just like, was it? So a player jumped on you, or jumped over you to get the ball. It's like, that's called football. It's what you do. It's like,
he doesn't have a whinge, does he? I mean,
it's like, it's just like, I think Thomas Frank. I think obviously a lot of decisions not going his way. I think he's doing that because if they weren't, except for obviously the last 10 minutes, didn't quite nothing really in the game, really. Nothing. Yeah, obviously nothing really that made, it could be because obviously Liverpool just really controlled the game really well, and obviously in the last 10 minutes we just kind of, I don't know if it's just momentum has been a problem for lots of the season, but they didn't. Maybe he's using the old deflect tactic, the one where basically your team's played really bad, so you just kind of blame the ref and kind of get everyone to hate the ref. What I found hilarious is they booed. Tottenham fans a strange fan base where they're booing Van Dijk for him getting fouled. It's like he didn't ask to get fouled on his shin, and
I think all fans do that though, don't they? They boo the player who got their player sent off.
I know, but I just find it hilarious because I'm sitting there going it's not like he was play acting. It's like the guy.
It was a legitimately very rough challenge.
With Spurs, and this is exactly the team that I see they are this season. They'll go to Crystal Palace and they'll get a 2-0 win.
Yeah,
somehow.
exactly. Yeah.
They'll somehow get a 2-0 win, and then they'll go to Brentford the following week and get spanked 3-0. Yeah. And it's like there's no consistency in their game.
Their only consistency this league is it's not even in the league; it's in the Champions League. That's where their only consistency lies. Which is strangely enough. But
I've got an interesting stat with was at Tottenham because I think I saw it on Sky Sports that was kind of interesting. It kind of proves a point. Was it at home in 2025? From 54 points available, they've only got 15 out of a possible 54, and that's a calendar year.
Yeah, that is miserable. Yeah, it is really bad.
Yeah. That is just
but we'll have to see what they do now. But we'll leave it there for today's episode. Obviously, this is our last episode before Christmas, so Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
And we will see you after the Christmas break for let's hope some entertaining football over the Boxing Day. One on Boxing Day and the 27th. Let's hope some really good, interesting games.
I just don't think they like Newcastle Man United. Because it's like of all the teams to pick,
Friday,
they decided,
we're
oh, you
playing
know what?
Friday.
What game is? Well, we don't like Newcastle. We don't like Man United. Let's put them on the Boxing Day, the only fixture, and everybody
Well,
else gets the next day off. It's like it just feels
Well,
like really harsh.
They deserve
I
it.
know.
Anyway.
Well, hey, at least it's not on Monday. Think of the person. At least not on our Monday night football, because that seems
There
to
we
be.
go. Yeah.
That was
Oh,
a
for a
constant.
change. Yeah, Friday night football. Yeah, there you go.
Right. But yeah, take care, everyone.
Bye,
All right, we'll
guys.
see you
Happy
for next week's
Christmas.
episode. See you later.
Yes.